fashion as a barman. It's a small one. It's not something you'll find in the Bahamas, in New York, or Florida. But yeah, it works for me. So, hi fellas. Remember, I told you I'm a nature enthusiast. Today, I'm going to talk to you about Meru National Park and what it has got to offer. So, Meru is situated near is a Mount Kenya region in Nairobi. No, sorry, in a central province. It's about 200 kilometers from the Nairobi city, from the city, and yeah, it's the second largest park. It's also good to mention that it borders the Bisanadi and Kora National Park, Bisanadi National Reserve, and Kora National Park, and has several things to boast about. Well, I'll start with the first one is the Born Free story. Remember the Born Free story, the guy who used to take care of the lions. We have a Born Free Foundation that also supports them and ensures that the lions' protection legacy keeps on going on. So you have to cross Meru National Park about a 2.5 hour ride to the George Adamson Bridge, go over Tana River, and go 1.5 hours to George Adamson campsite. At that campsite, you get to get his paraphernalia. That is where he used to take care of the lions. Exact hut he used to stay in is still being kept intact, and where he used to keep the lions and so while he's studying them. Few kilometers from that is his grave. And Boy, the first lion, that unfortunately he had to kill himself because it was killing a worker. There's this information about that Born Free story all throughout is with certain hotels. If you go to Equator Safari Camp, you'll be explained to. If you go to Elsa's, they so Elsa's copy the amount lodge inside the Meru National Park, you'll get to see with them that their story is there. So every June, like this June, every August, like this August 20th, we commemorate his legacy, and we get to be where he was and camp there for 4 nights. We have protection from KWS, and from that time we get to see exactly where he used to stay, where he used to climb a rock. There's a very big boulder rocks that he used to stand and call out the lions, then check them out, then release them. He used to have direct contact with them. So the worker, I think, thought that he could do the same, but unfortunately, no two persons are the same, so they are not so much into to him. How he died is he went to take his guest at the airstrip, and unfortunately, he found some shifters trying to raid the guest, and he had to try and ram one. Then, unfortunately, the other one got him. So it's a bit of a legacy that people get to see it. When guys get into where he was buried, they get emotional, and they get to know that one of their own, at least, stood for something. Second is Elsa's grave. Elsa's grave is situated next to, not far from Rojowero River. It's quite hidden. It takes about, I think it's about 62 kilometers, so it takes about 2 hours if you don't know where you're going, and it takes a lot more that if you are not sure with a guide. But we usually suggest that you get a guide, and other guests usually say since they have heard of the history, which is way over, they will like an armed guard. So we suggest you take an armed guard for your comfort, and armed guard costs $40. So takes you around, you get to see the graveside. People also get emotional around there, because it's not every day you get to witness history that you've been seeing in movies, live and real. Also, Meru National Park has a hippo pool, two of them. Sites that most people like to use it as a picnic site for lunch or breakfast as they watch the hippos. The hippos are real big. There was no history of attack, so sometimes once in a while guests will come out and get to see them, and once in a while you'll see some crocodile next to it. So yeah, that's usually a very beautiful sight. Third, we have a rhino sanctuary that is really protected. The rhinos are being risk animals, are indigenous animals, are endangered animals because of their horns. For some reason, they keep on fetching more money. So we have about 11 stations in the inside the rhino sanctuary, and they are really well protected. So you have to get in at 6:30 in the morning, at 6:30 in the evening. There's no doubt about that. You have to be out. The Kenya Wildlife Service rangers are very strict to that, because these are animals that you don't just get by the day. You just get to breed them anyhow. They are hard to breed, so they are watched after every 2 hours. I think somebody has to give out a report of where they are. Another thing about the Meru National Park is on request. There's usually kayaking, but that's done by professionals. On asking, guides will try and show you how it's done. And I think there's a season to it, because you don't done all year round. There's a time when Tana River goes really high, so you can risk doing it at that moment. We've had people do documentaries. That is done on, if you really require to do so, you have to do by the headquarters and get some licenses. Then prepare for a place where you'll be staying, so that you can be accessing the park. If it's a nocturnal animal at night, if it's an animal that is usually during the day, you can do so. Rangers at the KWS are really cooperative, so on getting of your license, you come to talk to the senior warden, and some of the rangers he will assign them to you, and they will show you where the best places are. Meru National Park is really the best in terms of wildlife. Fourth, we have really a lot of species of bird, to be precise, over 400 species. So for bird watchers, this is a heaven. This is everything. This is like a stock for birds. This is second to Rio. And when we have bird watchers around here, they get enough and of what they what in terms of pictures and videos of stock. You just have to be quiet, and Meru National Park is still a virgin park. It has not been visited so much since the stories of shifters, which of like now I can assure you they are not there anymore. The park is really safe, and the KWS have made sure that it's protected, and the government has increased presence of the rangers inside here. So it's really heavens for birds. If you're here, you'll get whatever you want. Also, it's unique in its own way, because it has a second outlet. That's the Ura Gate. If you're coming from Nairobi and you want to do a game drive, then leave but don't come out through the Murera Gate. You can go through the Ura Gate and come out of a town called Embu. Embu is not so far from the city. You can go through there. So you can do a drive through the park while you visit, while you see wildlife as you go out. And you don't have to come back to a camp. So we usually assist people to make sure they clean up on their tickets. It's unique also because unlike other parks in Nakuru, I think Masai Mara, it allows for re-entry. If you get a ticket, it's 24-hour ticket. So you could come out, go for lunch, and come in back in. That is not allowed in a park like Kora National Park, because the flow is too much. Oh well, I'm here again. So apart from that, you'll wonder, where should I stay? Meru National Park boasts of either way of accommodation. So if you are high end, we have high end accommodation. If you on a budget, also there's also lodges to cater for you. So on the high end, it will be there's a lodge inside the Meru National Park called Elsa that will take care of you. You can fly in. They'll have top-rated guards, and you'll be taken around as much as how you can. You can ask all the questions. If you're middle range, there's a lodge called Rhino River Lodge. That one also will take care of, not for the super rich, but it's good if you like to stay inside the park and maybe take an early morning game drive or late in the evening. For affordable quality safaris, we have Equator that is restricted outside. Another one called Sunrise Lodge that is coming up, and I don't think you'll want to stay 30 kilometers away. But if you are really on a budget, there's some bed and breakfast stays that will assist you for about $30. So Equator Safari Camp goes for I think $150. That is a budget stay, and if you come to Rhino River, is about what it should be 63,000 Kenyan shillings. That is about $630. For Elsa is a high end, so $1,200, but it's worth it if you wish to visit either side, either you're on budget, either you're middle range, or you are high end client. There's at least something for you, a property to stay in, and it's easy to quite go through. You'll check in my subscription there for properties around here, and there are links where you can get them to make your ride easier. So if you're here, you have a vehicle that is not a standard SUV that can go into the park, we also can organize for you. I can organize for you an SUV. Depends if it's a van or it's a Land Rover, open air Land Rover. It costs $170 for full day game drive, and yeah. So guys, if you would like to visit this area, please go down to my description, look for the links that I've set for you for Meru National Park areas to stay and places to visit. Please comment down there for any comments that you have, questions that you have. I'll answer you through there. Don't forget to subscribe and like before you leave. If you want to stay near Meru National Park, karibu.